EA put out a quick video showcasing the deployable mortar. They describe this as a launcher that has high explosive shells designed to strike defensive positions and disperse infantry, or smoke shells to conceal troop movement. Now, this is a gadget that will be on the support class, and in my opinion, the support class has a lot of great gadgets. And from everything we've heard so far, the high explosive shells do not deal that much damage, and that was from the most recent playtest when all the gadgets were available, and a lot of the content creators, of course, got to talk about everything they experienced in that recent playtest, and some have said the shells do not do as much damage, but they may be designed just to disperse infantry, and that is helpful to your teammates, because if you can keep the enemies kind of running around trying to get away from those explosions, then they will be easier for your friendly teammates to take out if they're in kind of a close proximity, because the enemy is not going to be paying attention to, where everyone else is if we're just trying to get away from these explosions from the mortar. And that's probably a good thing, because if you played Battlefield 2, it had a mortar as well, and it was insane. It dealt a ton of damage, and it is kind of frustrating, when somebody's putting a mortar shot down or mortar shells down over and over, and there's really nothing you can do to defend it, especially from long ranges. And they did say this here on this clip, that this was kind of just showcasing it at a close range, that it will be able to do, more range or be able to shoot at further ranges in the game when it comes out. But they were just kind of showcasing what it would do, at a close range here, so you could see it firsthand. But I kind of am glad that they did not go too crazy with this. I felt like what we had in Bad Company 2, when this was actually on the recon class, you called it in with the binoculars, you called in that kind of mortar strike in that area you wanted it to strike in. It would get kills every once in a while, but it was mainly made to make the enemy kind of scatter. And it works really well on smaller buildings that you can knock down the roofs on and things quickly. Or if they're kind of gathered up and maybe a head glitch or something like that, it's going to get the enemy to move when you start, pretty much raining shells down on their head. Whether you get a kill or not, that doesn't really matter. You're mainly trying to help out your teammates, and I think that's what they have done here. We will have to see when the game launches, of course, on the 10th of October. They could have tweaked the damage to these shells a little bit, but I don't expect it to be too strong, and if it is, it probably will be toned down a bit after the game launches. But for me, the most important thing here is the smoke shells, because you're going to be able to help conceal either flanks or your teammates maybe working on a certain objective that's hard to get to with those smoke shells. They can then run something else besides smoke grenades themselves. So, a lot of people will run smoke grenades just to be able to get to a flank, be able to get to an objective maybe. But if you can actually sit back at a distance and fire off some smoke screens for your teammates, I think that's where the portable mortar will come in very handy. It's going to be a hard decision what to use when it comes to the support class, because they have a lot of really good gadgets in my opinion. And I talked about this in a video a couple weeks back when I was kind of showcasing all the gadgets that will be available in Battlefield 6. I feel like the support class, the engineer class, even the assault class now has really good options, where the recon class is lacking a bit. I kind of would like to have seen this on the recon class, honestly, or on the recon class, because I think it would have been interesting to have those mid-range snipers have the ability to pull out a mortar just like you could in Bad Company, and use this to either, put down some damage to move the enemy around and disperse them, or actually put down some smoke screens for their teammates. And I think this would have been a really good addition to that recon class, now that they have moved the deployable beacon or the deploy beacon to the assault class. But unfortunate kind of for the recon class, this is a support gadget which has a lot of really good gadgets. So I'm going to be interested to see how many players use what gadgets on what class, because there's some really good ones out there, some really good ones we got to use during the beta, but of course we only had, just a small sample size there when it came to the beta and what gadgets we could or had access to. And I'm going to be curious to see what people really use on the support class, because it has some really, really good options. But I still think the smoke shell, at least, could be something that maybe people don't use all the time, but in certain scenarios or certain flanks or certain capture points that they cannot maybe gain access to easily without a smoke screen. And like I said, it will allow your teammates to use something besides a smoke grenade, so they can start using regular grenades or whatever and you can kind of give them that support from a distance. Leave me a comment. Let me know what you think about the portable mortar. And of course, if you like the video, hit the like. If you have not subscribed yet, please do so. And I'll catch you next time. Peace.